back at it with UFC. That's a tap. DJ on hand to recap the UFC 278, huge pay-per-view with huge ramifications. Let's get straight into it.
Straight into, man. Look at me now. Look at me now. Oh, man. I still remember us watching that card in a car. You know what I mean? We were on the move while watching it, and I still won't forget that scream from the back seat. But like, he knocked him out. Oh, man, what a card. What a fight, really, right? Enjoyed it. Was very happy to have watched it together, albeit in two different screens because we were both inside a car. Great atmosphere with what we had there at the moment. Yeah, man, UFC 278. Look, up until the main event, it was an okay card, like, yeah, good card, decent card, and then the main event happened. Up until the last round, it was a good card, and then the last round, I was like, whoa, you know, the card was screaming at us, saying, "Look at me now." You know, let's start with the main event, right? Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, pound for pound #1. You know, GOAT status, Anderson Silva's record, everything's on the line, and the fight played out the way it played out. Straight up thoughts. What did you think?
Yeah, look, you know, and I'm not just saying this to you know, pat myself on the back, but obviously, you know, in the pre-show and, you know, social media and things, I'd been talking about the timing, what Leon Edwards had been through, and the talk about, you know, is he the guy to challenge Usman the best way anyone else has been able to challenge him? And I was just thinking to myself the whole lead up that, like, you know, the way the world works is funny sometimes. It's just about timing. It's like Leon Rose, you know, sorry, not Leon Rose, Edwards. Leon Edwards basically had been building up for this opportunity. It was like, the world's like, is he going to be able to take it? Is he not? You know, first round, DJ, it looked like he
dominant round.
You know, nearly submitted him. You know, well done with that. Just tough guy to submit. But then the fight went the way we sort of expected it to go.
And then Usman took over, made his adjustments, came back and started dominating round 2, 3, and 4 in typical Usman fashion, wearing him down, a lot of pressure. I was very surprised with the first round where Leon decided to employ the ground tactics, right? He took him down. Let's not forget, first, and this is why it's so poetic in so many ways for Leon Edwards, is because of the storyline, what he was able to achieve, and sort of the things that he accomplished along the way. You know, first person to take him down, you know what I mean? And, you know, albeit dominating him in the ground in that first round as well, almost, you know, at a submission threat. We didn't expect that. We always were expecting the Usman being the more wrestling guy, and then Leon being the striker, right? And we saw a bit of a reverse there. And then, you know, you remember rounds 2, 3, and 4, I'd given up by round 4 or 5, and I was just like, oh, look, it's too one-sided. You know, we know what's going to happen. You know, I can tell you the end then and then.
So did the commentators.
So did them.
They were like, and I was a little disappointed in that. It was just like, it just killed it a bit, the buzz.
Yeah, you got to be careful, you know? I think, when you're commentating, to be as impartial as possible. I feel like it was more because, and we'll talk about it a bit later, but the altitude and how much that impacted, because in Leon's corner themselves have said this, that he looked deflated. He looked like he had given up, like his corner had to like pump him up each time. And his head coach was saying, you know, come on, this is not you. Let's do this. And let's kind of turn this switch. But, you know, he did seem deflated. I think body language says a lot. So I think obviously the commentators were able to see that, and they just, you know, translated that into words, I feel. But how iconic is it, as Rogan and DC are saying that, you know, it seems like Leon's resigned for a decision loss. And then Anik says that's not the cloth he's cut from. As he says it, he lands that kick. You know, we'll talk a lot about the kick and how perfectly timed it was. And that's, again, and a lot of credit to you. I mean, one word you kept saying leading up to the fight was timing, and you said timing is on Leon's side. And I guess the whole story about this kick was that timing. I feel like this fight was sort of a, in a way, Leon's fight life leading up to this point, you know, summed up in that fight, right? Like, I mean, started with a bang, faced a lot of adversity. I seemed like all hopes lost. You know, 2, 3, and 4, all rounds were like the same story, right? Very dominant round for the champ, the champ at the time. And then even round 5, let's not forget, like it wasn't going Leon's way until that point, right? But Leon seemed a little bit more composed there. But he was visibly tired, obviously, in those middle rounds. And then, man, like I don't know, a lot of people are saying lucky kick, but there's a lot of videos floating around. They planned it, right? And they assessed that slouch to that one side, where they can capitalize on. And then Leon set it up, right? Look, obviously the fact that moment presented itself was quite lucky, but to be able to grab that and then utilize that and have that presence of mind to set it up to throw that kick, I think speaks volumes of who Leon Edwards is as a fighter, as a striker, as a mixed martial artist. And I think a lot of respect for him, and I had a lot of respect for him even leading up to this. I know I picked Usman to win. I think a lot of people did, just based on activity, because Leon wasn't the most active person. And he's had a string of bad luck. 3 fights dropped out with Hamza. And you got that Nate Diaz incident where that iconic last minute shot that landed that dropped him, and that was a story of the fight. And then the eye poke with Bilal Muhammad, right? And he's got a massive win streak himself, and I guess not a lot of people talking about it, and I understand it. You compare it to Usman, big pound for pound number 1, right? That's a big thing, right? Look, he set it up. He feinted the left, and then he went up with the kick, and picture perfect, right? Walk-off knockout, man. What more can you ask for?
I mean, just the moment in UFC history. I think the circumstance, like you said, underdog, Rocky. We talk about how the crowd, was chanting Rocky.
It was iconic.
His emotional, iconic post-fight interview with Joe Rogan. I think I've watched that back already about 20 times, I think.
That's my motivation right now. Every morning I listen to it, like how iconic. Everything was pitch perfect, right? Like to land that takedown on Usman, right? To then face adversity, then to come back from it, right? In a championship fight, you're not fighting any fighter. You're not fighting just a champion. You're fighting the pound for pound number 1 fighter, right? And let's not forget the altitude's in Usman's advantage, because he trains in a high altitude in Colorado. And then to knock out the pound for pound cold, it's amazing, right? It just speaks volumes, right? I think it's just a picture perfect story. This moment will forever be etched. I know there was some comparisons of this to the Pena Nunes fight, when Pena submitted it, but I just feel like this is a far more different, whereas their skills are quite closely matched, right? I mean, we knew that Leon Edwards had a chance to win. Whereas in the other example, obviously there was that gap in skill, right? Whereas in this one, we knew there was a chance, right? But then when we saw the second and third round and the fourth round panel, we were like, oh, you know what? We got the same story, And man, he landed it and he delivered. And I think this catapults him to superstardom, right? I mean, maybe not superstardom, but he's definitely now going to have some sort of a star power, because everyone's talking about it. When the pound for pound number 1's fighting, everyone tunes in to watch, right? So he had the perfect stage, and then he was able to capitalize, man, and that's it. And on his birthday week, how better can this get? Look at me now, look at me now.
I think it's about like you said, it's what it does for the division. Got me most excited, right? Now they talk about the scenarios. If Usman won, there's not many scenarios. Now it's like opened up a whole new pathway for new matchups, you guys, and also the UK market, which Dana recently talked about going to Wembley. Now in the UK market already exploding with the last 2 O2 Arena shows. Now they're going to go one bigger. They're looking at Cardiff. Which is an indoor stadium that could do
75,000. I heard that. Man, that's just insane, right?
So I mean, he's just going to be a huge star. Or he's at least going to get that huge box office fight on his home turf, which I was happy that they give him credit for. Instead of running it back in Vegas or whatever.
True. And I think Usman's apparently made it clear that he wants to rematch. Right, it's going to be a competitive fight again. It's going to be a good fight to it. They both 1-1. Right. Stadium event in UK. That'll be crazy, right? I think they're both saying next year. So, let's see. You know what I mean? like you said, there's a lot of exciting matchups. Now I'm liking Colby and Leon.
Yeah.
That fight's great. I don't know how much I want to see Masvidal fight Leon. And he needs to get a win before he can do that.
Yep. I think there's talk Jorginho's might fight Jorge.
Yeah.
Those two are fighting against each other.
Yeah. That definitely, I heard about that too. But nothing confirmed, right?
No, nothing.
If anything, they would put that for December, I feel.
Yeah.
Because that card doesn't have an headliner yet.
Yeah, and then Diaz and Hamzat.
Yeah.
Now, Hamzat was obviously going to be the guy that was probably going to face Usman if he won.
Yeah.
But now he's got to get through Diaz.
But then he'll have to wait after that, right? If Usman wants a rematch, right? And then they're going to do the rematch.
Yeah.
Right? Usman was a dominant champ. And then he'll have to wait. Maybe he'll take another fight.
Maybe Colby.
Maybe he could fight Colby, you know? Colby's wanting to fight apparently in December. So
yeah, Dana did confirm that they were in the process of booking him.
Man, welterweight just became exciting. You know what I mean? Now with Usman, not the
and obviously Conor. I expect Conor's return to probably be like you were saying just before.
Yeah.
How can he really cut?
Yeah, man, he looks big, right? He's a big boy now. And don't forget the latest addition to the welterweight roster. I know he's a bit towards the later end of his career, but the one Mr. El Pukui, Tony Ferguson, is fighting welterweight soon, right? I mean, hey, could you picture if Diaz somehow finds a way to win against Hamzat? Whoa, man! This year has been a year of upsets, right? Carlos Esparza beat Rose Namajunas, right? And then the year he won, I wouldn't call it an upset, but it was like this last-minute thriller, right? Yeah. So there's so many things you never know what will happen, right? So we know Diaz is capable of holding his own, so he might put I don't know, it's a tall task, but no, that's great, man. Great things, and I think the next fight's going to be the rematch. I don't think they're going to do any other fights in between.
No.
It'll be great.
You were number one pound for pound for that long. Like Usman deserves it.
If Usman wants it, the only scenario that I thought where they wouldn't do it is if Usman had said, "Look, I need some time away from the game."
Yeah.
Right. When you get knocked out like that, and when you're carrying the pressure that you had, being in the top of your game and constantly to be able to go in and produce that kind of performances, I think, if he had said, "Look, I want to sit out for a year or so," right?
Yeah.
Then maybe they'll look at someone else. Let's not also forget, right? Usman's 37, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So he's older as well. Like he's not older, but he's older in terms of the mixed martial arts world, right? If we know it's a young man's sport, like we're having people in the Dana White Contender Series who are 17 and 21 getting signed up.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a young man's sport. Like how much can he compete? Let's not forget, Leon's 30.
Yeah.
Right. He's young. It feels like he's been fighting for ages, but he's young.
Well, if he's only that was what I was going to ask you about Usman, and like I said, losing like that. If you want to go to the rematch straight away, it's dangerous because if he lost again, not saying he will, but then it's like, okay, I've lost twice now. You talk about falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
But you said you take time away, you have an easier matchup, you get another dub, and then you come back.
Yeah, I mean. Also to consider is that when you have a knockout like that, and you get knocked out, right? It is going to impact you in some way, right?
Yeah.
When you walk into that cage again, and when you're going back to that same setting, and looks like all bit in enemy territory, right? You're gonna feel that pressure, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. So Usman seems like one of those people who has like one of the strongest mindsets out of it. All these fighters, to be able to go inside a cage and fight shows that they have a strong mindset, right? So he seems to have like a very strong mindset, but it still plays a part, right? You're going to be gun shy. You're going to be apprehensive in there. But he's quite confident. He said, "Look, I want." Like, his statement is, "Don't forget what was happening before that knockout."
Yeah.
But we've always seen. I mean, if history were to say something, we've seen some dominant champs getting, knocked out and then coming back and not with the same opponent and not doing, not winning, right?
And what about on the other way where Leon was saying, I was at my worst, he was at his best. Don't forget about the altitude.
Yeah.
Just to add to your point, he was saying my body wasn't reacting the way, like it wasn't reacting to what I wanted it to do. And if that's the case, that's pretty scary.
And that's the big question, right? Was Leon Edwards at his best that day? We know he's a phenomenal striker.
He could have been handicapped.
We know he's a phenomenal striker, right? Now they're going to fight in his hometown, right?
Yeah.
And then so many, it makes the fight all the more exciting, right?
It's going to be the biggest selling pay-per-view, I think, in UFC history.
It could be, yeah, it could be big.
Honest.
Every time they go to UK, they can stack the card, right? Because they got so much UK talent, right? You got Darren Till, you got Paddy Pimblett, right? You got Tom Aspinall, who may be ready by then, right? You know, you got so much talent, right? Molly.
They've never had a homegrown that lives in the UK champion.
Yeah. First UK born, UK living champ.
If it's a Wembley or Cardiff gig, you're going to have like that entire continent behind the guy.
I know.
And that's just going to be for pay-per-view, for everything. And the biggest thing, revelation to me, is he confirmed it's going to be local time.
Yeah. Dana said it will be like catering to the UK audience. I don't know how that'll impact us here.
I hope they do that with us here. Man. Imagine us going to a 7:30 p.m.
We got again. You know how I said this whole scenario is great, right? And I'm getting your point. This whole scenario is great for Leon. It was poetic. You know, another great thing about all this is Alexander Volkanovski is number one pound for pound. We've been saying this since like July. We're like, make him. He is the pound for pound number one, and finally he is. Well deserved.
Yes.
The real champ, the real king. You know, not to discredit news, but obviously, like, you know, I just felt Volkanovski's.
Oh, it's been long overdue, man. Like, he's just been dominating. Who dominates Max Holloway? Really?
Exactly.
Like,
you know,
I think puts him in a mash unit.
Yeah. I felt like that last performance should have earned him that number one spot. But anyway, here we are. And hey, so if you're going to come to Melbourne, or if you're going to come to Australia, and you're going to host the pound for pound number one, you got to cater to their audience, man. You can't have like a 2 p.m. Sunday, you know.
No.
Let's do Saturday. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is what it is, right?
They don't want the jet lag of all the traveling fighters, right? Because we are a huge time difference.
Yeah,
it's going to be huge. But remember Abu Dhabi? Didn't they? When the first Fight Island one, they made them fight at 6 a.m.
Yeah, remember we watched the Khabib Gaethje fight. We were like hungover, and we were watching the Khabib Gaethje fight early in the morning on a Sunday. So. Yeah, I mean, let's hope.
They say it's becoming a truly global sport, right? Let's not just treat it like it's only the Americans that watch it.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, if you're coming to a country where you're filling a 50,000 stadium, right? I mean, like that's enough, you know. Let's cater to them, you know.
You can't have a sold out Cardiff or Wembley, and everyone's sitting there at 10 a.m. like trying to drink beer and get juiced into it. I mean, you know, you're half asleep.
Yeah, that's true. I know you gotta. Yeah, I agree.
The Singapore one was a bit borderline ridiculous, really.
Yeah, because you had to go quite early,
I was there at like 9 a.m. trying to get juiced up.
Yeah, trying to get off your drinks and stuff. Like,
we were eating McDonald's breakfast just outside of the arena.
Usually you go to a fight, like imagine an American coming over to watch the fight, right? He's used to he or she's used to, hey, what's for dinner after the fight? What are we grabbing for dinner, you know? You come here, you watch a fight, hey, what's for breakfast? You know what I mean? Look at me now.
You may as well just stay awake. The fighters probably shouldn't have gone to bed because then you've got to wake up real early. You've only got a few hours to be in fight mode.
Yeah.
Be better off just drinking all afternoon, staying up all night, have your fight, and then go to bed like it's evening.
No, you're talking about fighters.
Yeah,
I think they need to sleep. I think they need to sleep to come before it'll be a Paulo Costa. Remember when he had wine? Hey, talking of that, look, quick shout out, iconic post-fight interview, iconic. I think this moment could not have. I'm gonna go back to the word you used, right? I'm giving you full credit, man. Timing, right?
Yeah.
This is all about fucking timing, and that's what it was for Leon Edwards. Timing. Right, and everything was timed so perfect, right? And that iconic post-fight interview, everything, right?
I mean, he was a meme. Let's not forget he got pieced up by Jorge. People didn't quite know who he was.
Yeah,
they only knew that he was a dude that Jorge pieced up.
Yeah, he got booed in his own hometown.
And then he got the eye poke. Then he said the pandemic, losing fights.
Yeah,
him not being able to fly over because of the borders.
Man,
like he had to wait like 4 long years. That's why he broke down.
And he made the prediction before in the pre-fight presser when Usman, someone asked, and he's like, "I'm going to make him a meme." And he did, man. He did. Jeez, you know, it's like I don't know if he went to the future and came back, but hey,
I might get some merch to Leon.
Yeah,
if you're watching, you know,
man, nice looking t-shirts. Look at me now. Look at my favorite line was pound for pound, headshot dead. That was my favorite, and he delivers and he walks away. I'm like, fuck, it's so good. And then obviously we got the co-main, which was a crazy fight. It was a weird fight, but a crazy fight, right? You got Rockhold, down like holding his knees midway through the fight. He was clearly impacted with the altitude and everything, right?
Yeah.
We had like Aldo, same thing. We had Costa tied as well. Like they were all like, done,
Yeah.
But man, the fight delivered, right? It was fireworks, right? Costa was coming forward like he's used to, and he was landing some heavy shots. Rockhold had some badass moments, right? I genuinely think, like, it was a decision. I genuinely think Costa won. It was a clear decision.
Yeah.
Costa won. But Rockhold had his moments, man. Rockhold didn't lose like a bad fight. Like that part where he says, fuck you, and comes in and lands a shot.
Yeah.
For me, that was badass. He just literally walks around the cage and he goes, fuck you, and he lands it.
He's like, I'm not going. You could tell he's battling the fatigue, the elements.
He gave it his...
egging him on.
Luke Rockhold was someone who I always liked to see fight. I know he was, not having the greatest of performance lately, but he was just such a good fighter, such a well-rounded fighter. And I was excited for it. I would even have loved to see a win for him, just to see how for some reason, I always wanted to see Israel Adesanya versus Rockhold, but not to be. And nonetheless, the entertaining fight, right? The blood rubbing at the end was a bit weird. I was like, when I saw the Twitter update, I was like, what's this?
It's another meme. So many memes from this show. Obviously, the retirement, which we'll get into. But I want to start about with Costa first, because I think I said also in the preview he had a lot to gain or lose.
Yeah,
he's been on a bit of a slide.
Yeah,
lost a lot of weight. Looked like he took it real seriously. The Asada thing, which was an absolute joke.
It was a joke, man. On the day of the
the guy could have fainted or died. I'm
right.
glad they said they'll never do that ever again.
Yeah, it's just because we got people in places like USADA, people who have not done this sport, so they don't understand the impacts of it, right? They just think, I'm going to go in there and get it.
Yeah, I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Weird. But yeah, that was crazy. But look, you're right. I think there was a lot of questions going in saying, can he fight at 185 again, Costa? Will he be good at 185 after everything that happened? Seems like he took the Vittori fight as a joke. Right,
yeah.
He obviously got, he got dominated by Adesanya, right? Where are we going to go? What are we going to see from Costa? And he comes out and he started answering all those questions from the media day onwards, right? He seemed switched on, was taking his weight cut seriously. He made weight, he seemed switched on, right? He turned up for that press conference. We saw that fire that we've seen in Costa, right? Because there are certain people in the UFC, like you have them in the division, in the organization. It makes the division and the organization more exciting.
Yeah,
the Conor McGregors and all that. And Costa falls under the week. He brings a lot of excitement. And then look, he came in ready to go, right? And he put out a good performance, right? How much does it do to his rankings? I don't know, because obviously he fought someone below him.
Yeah.
But I think this win's good. But now he needs to probably gun for like a top 5, top 3 even, if he can do that. I would actually suggest to him the loser of Vittori Whittaker, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's Vittori, then he gets to have that revenge on that loss that he suffered, right? And if it's Whittaker, man, it's a big fight,
And he was actually down here. Remember that the event we were at?
Yeah, he was at
at the Marvel Stadium.
Was it?
Yeah, 243.
Yeah.
He was in the crowd.
Yeah, he was there. Like, I mean, look, if he fought like what he fought with Luke Rockhold, man, Adesanya is going to piece him up.
Yeah.
Right? But middleweight's an exciting division now too. We got Alex Pereira fighting for the title against Israel Adesanya, right?
That's MSG, right? To me, so far, that is the most stacked card.
You sure?
Most pay-per-view I'm looking forward to. Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square.
Yeah.
For me.
Or Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, man.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot beat that, man. My God. Oliveira has become one of my all-time favorites, man. And then you got the Aljo TJ fight in there too.
They put Booker on it now, I think.
Yeah, so it's stacked from top to bottom. Like, it's crazy. So is the MSG. They added Dustin Poirier and
Chandler
in there as well. That's a crazy fight, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. At the end of the year, UFC always ends the year in the back, right?
Yeah.
And they always, historically, they'd stack this December card too.
Yeah.
Right? So we're in for a treat, right?
And
I
then
mean,
early next year is going to be a bang if they come down, or Rio,
and then yeah. But did you hear the main event for December that they're targeting?
No.
Is John Jones Stipe.
Oh,
Wow.
for December.
Yeah.
Which will that be T-Mobile?
It'll be December's always T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're targeting
John Jones Stipe now.
Yeah, and then
so it's not going to be one of the heavy other heavyweights.
I think it'll be like a interim title because I don't think Ngannou is ready.
They'll fight Garn.
Yeah, and then Cormain is Yuri. Glover rematch.
Oh man,
I don't know why they didn't do it in Rio, but maybe because Yuri's the champ. Because it's just 1 month away. They could have done it.
True.
Because he's from Brazil.
Yeah.
But look, Costa. Yeah, look, I think he should gun for either Vittori or not. Sorry, Vittori. I can't say Vittori or Whittaker, right? Or I don't know. Like I know Strickland and Cannonier are fighting. He hasn't fought either one of them either. So maybe one of them.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's probably what I'd recommend because he needs to start looking upwards of him and start fighting them and climb up the rankings.
If it's a fight night, could he headline? Like who? Now that Aldo, which we're about to get on that, with Aldo losing, who could headline a Rio card? Like Nunes or?
They could put Nunes in there, but I think they'll put Davison Figueiredo. He's a champion.
Figueiredo
Moreno is like one of the craziest fights and fans love it, right? So they'll probably put that as the main event.
Yeah. And then they could squeeze Costa on it.
They could put another really good co-main, you know what I mean? Maybe Costa, and you're right, we just got to wait.
Or Cheeto, because he's, he's Ecuadorian.
Yeah.
But
hey, what if Alex Pereira wins? He's Brazilian.
Oh yeah.
Right? Charles Oliveira, what if he wins? Squeeze him in there.
That's true.
There's so many possibilities.
Keep forgetting.
I reckon the biggest star at the moment from Brazil is Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't think there's anyone bigger, right? He's one of the best fighters in the UFC at the moment, right? So let's see. I think, look, there's a few possibilities for Costa.
Or Nunes Shevchenko. They could squeeze that on.
Yeah, that's a big fight.
Nunes
is
Pena 3.
Yeah.
If you think of her timeline, she'll be about ready to fight again by Jan.
It could be. She did ask for some time away.
Yeah. And before she retires, like you think it's coming to your hometown and you're winding down. You're like,
she'd want
I definitely want to be on this card on my hometown.
She'd want to. I reckon they will somehow squeeze Aldo into it. Aldo is known as a king of Rio, man.
Yeah.
You need to have him there, right?
Yeah.
Rocco. What did you think of Rocco? Obviously his performance and
like you said, man, all heart. Definitely, like you could see the altitude affecting him.
Yeah.
But I love those moments he gave us. Like, he just never gave up.
The samurai.
Yeah, getting pieced up. He was like just going down on his sword.
Man.
And I saw his breakdown at the end. It was
raw.
It was must-watch TV kind of thing. And he's like swearing and just the way he just spoke to the crowd and everyone's just like, I'm just too fucking old, man.
Yeah.
But I gave it my all.
Yeah. Man, it was raw. It was really good. I think that retirement, even though it was a loss, a lot of respect. I think a lot of people respect him and I've even become a fan after he's retired, with the performance he delivered as well. He hung in there, right? It could have been finished a lot earlier. He could have easily given up, but he didn't, He hung in there and he took some heavy shots from Costa. And Costa's not a guy you want to take shots from, right? And then he went in and then, look, it is what it is. In the back of my mind, I was expecting him to, if he didn't win, I was expecting him to, hang it up. Like it's hard, you know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Because his aspiration is a title run, right?
Okay.
But the thing also, right, you need to keep in mind, whenever you have people just retire in the octagon just like that, there's a lot of emotions and adrenaline running through you, right? You may rethink that decision later.
True.
This is a sport where you don't really stay retired, right? Let's not forget Conor McGregor has retired before. Tyson Fury retired. He wants to come back now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot.
Triple C.
Fight
again.
So it's just that emotion that runs through you, and you want to do that. But I do feel that end was good. It summed up his career. It was a very respectable, reputable end. So, I hope he stays retired. There's nothing else to prove. He's a legend of the game. Strikeforce champion, UFC champion, everything, man.
Cowboy. I'm glad he gave it up.
Yeah,
there's only so many concussions.
It's getting hard, and it gets harder to watch. See these veterans. Starting to like Cowboy at one point started just accepting shots to his head. He just would just stand there. You can't. the McGregor one, like, you know.
They're sitting duck. And then if you always got to think about your future, your family, you know, a lot of them would have young kids.
I know what you're talking. I remember what you're talking about with the cowboy one. Yeah. Oh man. Oh no, I'm like, oh, I feel bad, man. He was.
Right. Yeah, let's hit on the King of Rio, like you mentioned.
Legend, man.
You know, we talked pre-show about, you know, if he won, that would huge ramifications of excitement.
Yeah.
But a loss, not so much.
Man, I was hoping for him to win, to be honest, because it would have been, again, similar to the Leon Edwards story, like very poetic if, you know, he could have another shot at that title and maybe even win that title, right? You know, was a dominant featherweight champ and to also capture another one, you know, towards the end of his career. That's great, right?
Yeah.
He's not that old, to be honest. He's, you know, I think 34, maybe 33, something, right? So people forget that he's young, right? The same age as Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah.
So
it just feels like he's been around.
He's been around,
like
and he's
2 decades.
He's taken a lot of that. There's a lot of miles on him, right? That's the problem. But look, was it an interesting and exciting performance from Dvalishvili? I don't think so.
No.
It was, but at the same time, though, we need to remember these guys are going in there to win, right? They want we're not the ones there and taking the shots, right? Yeah. Ideally, you'd want to be in there and take minimum amount of damage and get maximum reward, right? And that's sort of what he did. He did what he had to do to win. He got a win, but I don't think Dana was impressed. Like, he was in the post-fight. He was very dismissive. You know,
he was very
dismissive.
I think I was more disappointed in the money making that Aldo. You know what an Aldo win. Would mean for the whole organization.
Yeah, and I think if Aldo had won, he would have just lined up for the winner of. He would have lined himself up for the winner of Aljo and DJ, right? But that wasn't the case. It is what it is, man. Like, great career though.
Maybe
like,
Jan. Maybe could he fight the winner?
He fought Jan already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that was a one-sided fight. But I don't know. Maybe he could try one more fight. He's still not. He won't drop too far off the top 5.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, you lost to, I think, number 4, number 5 or something, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going to drop too fast. If he wants to still seriously consider that title push, he can. That's another killer division, man. Like, it's not a lot much you can do, you know. No. You look at that top 10, it's just all killers, right? Like Song Yadong's fighting Sandhagen, right?
Yeah.
All these, you name anyone in there, they're great.
O'Malley's
fighting Jan. Imagine O'Malley wins, like he's lined up for his title shot, right? And imagine him becoming a champion. That's sort of what the UFC would want as well.
Yeah, and Triple C will come back.
Triple C will come back.
I reckon.
Yeah.
Or do you think he will?
He's been out
a long time. He's testing.
Testing. He wants to. But, like, I feel like he also left with a good legacy, right? I mean,
I think it was a lot to do about pay too. He's just like,
I don't know what he was thinking.
Now that he's seeing some dudes get some extra buck.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he went about it the wrong way. He should never have, you know, just retired and expected to be given an offer, you know. He should have negotiated, look, either we get some more money or I'm thinking of retiring and do it behind the curtains, you know.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot better. But look, it is what it is. And I think Dvalishvili have to fight again before he can, you know, ask for a title shot. Yeah. So, we just got to wait and see. And there's that element of Aljo and him being friends. Like, he doesn't want to fight. And he's been talking about dropping down to bantamweight. Flyweight. So we don't know. We don't know how it'll go. Flyweight's kind of an exciting division at the top too. Right? Yeah. So, man. Look, we'll see. Overall, good card. Right.
Yeah, Pedro.
Oh, how can I forget Pedro, man? Yeah.
A good, clean finish.
I mean, he faced a bit of adversity to begin with. And then, you know, held his composure and went for the finish, man. And he seems to be in a whole new level since coming back from his injury, right? Yeah. He's had finishes. He's been sharp, right? He's been focused, and I feel like he's going to be a serious contender in that light heavyweight division, right?
And another guy from our region, like, we're just stacking them up now.
Oh.
You know, like, talk about, like, the UK got strong at the moment. You could rattle off every name for an upcoming Aussie. Jake Matthews, Stella Maddalena.
Yeah.
Crude might come back.
Jimmy Crude.
Is still promising and young.
Crude's
still below 30.
Yeah, Crude's very young. Yeah, and very promising.
Or whatever.
He's only going to get better.
Obviously, Bam Bam on the next card.
Bam Bam.
and then Pedro.
Oh man, I reckon we have more star power.
Yeah.
We have more star power than the
Whittaker.
UK, man. Come on. We got the pound for pound number one. Come
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
come on. Look at me now.
Pound for pound, headshot. He's dead.
Oh man. No, it's good. No, it's exciting. Obviously, man. I reckon I'd like to see Tyson Pedro fight someone now a bit more ranked up in that division.
Anthony Lionheart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why not? Why not, man? Everyone's fighting him. Why not? Yeah. Like someone tried to push him into that top 10 and then into that top 5. Tyson Pedro was someone who was touted to be that next person from our region. Obviously, he had a setback with the injuries and the layoff, and now he's back and he's performing and he's validating it. So let's go.
Isn't Crew in that division?
Same division.
Yeah.
Light heavyweight. It's going to be a little bit of a conflict, but
yeah,
they might have to navigate around it, but we'll see.
Be nice.
Hey, if Johnny Walker wins, let's get Johnny Walker and Pedro in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be good.
Jamal Hill needs an opponent, right? Jamal Hill's a tough ass though, but I reckon Pedro's as good as they come. He's good. He's really good, man. Like he was coming up, and then he obviously had that setback, and now he's back again. So great. Yeah, and look, like I said, overall great card, some great fights, but the best fight of the night obviously goes without saying was
Rockhold Costa.
The Rockhold Costa one, and then the best performance for me was Leon Edwards, man. Like storybook performance, right? Fairy tale, right? So
come back, and then obviously we'll touch on the altitude thing. Dana said that they'll obviously go back to Utah probably next year. Once a year. But it does have a significant impact. People were gassing out.
It was, and
the crowd's awesome there, and then the basketball stadium, which was, I watch Utah Jazz.
I know
they're good. The crowd's always very, very, very loud for the basketball, and they delivered for this as well.
Yeah, like they do. I don't think the issue was the crowd. I think if they were able to go back again, the fighters have to take a lesson from this, and they have to go in early, man, a lot early to adjust. Leon went 2 weeks early, and we saw what happened, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, Rockhold was struggling, and Rockhold prides himself of great cardio, right? Yeah. Aldo, these are people who are known for their cardio, and they were struggling, right? Yeah. So I think, because the air's thinner, right? Yeah. They just need to go up there earlier, like, even months in advance, like 2 months maybe, get accustomed if whenever they go back there for the fighters. So
you have their whole camp there.
Yeah, do the camp
if they want to be serious, if you really want to pick up a dub. Yeah. Especially in the championship fight, right? 5 rounds. Let's not forget about that.
Because there was a contrasting difference from the first round of Leon Edwards to then the rounds 2, 3, and 4. He looked like he'd given up. Like, even in the striking department, he just wasn't responsive. So good point to note. I personally think the altitude played a massive part in it.
Oh, it does, yeah.
Like, they were all tired. Like, I just don't think, we would have, certain people would have performed a lot better if that impact wasn't there as well, I feel.
Yeah, completely agree. Obviously, it sets the table, heading into Paris, huge card. Huge
is that what you say?
Bonjour.
Bonjour, sorry. What is oui then?
Oui is yes.
Oh, is that French as well?
Yeah.
Oh, oui, there you go. Oui.
Yes. And we'll have a French background for that one.
Yeah.
Maybe the Eiffel Tower.
Oh, let's go to the Eiffel Tower, man. Let's go to the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Big card for us because we got our very own Bobby Knuckles fighting, who you had the pleasure of meeting.
Yes.
In person, right? Yeah. Apparently, he was intimidated by you. That's what I heard.
No, he was all smiles like he normally is. Yeah. He's just chilled. I've never met a more relaxed guy outside of the cage, but in the cage,
he's a killer.
He's a reaper.
There's a few people I would never want to be like facing him, man. He's one of them, man. He's crazy.
We'll bring you the preview for that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a preview, and we're also going to drop a boxing episode with Anthony Joshua Usyk.
Yeah.
What's to come? Yeah. There's talk about a huge, fight coming up, and we've got the other boxing. Haney Kambosos.
They're coming back
in our city again. We'll be there. That's a tap.
Come on, Dana. They beat you twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're still shut down, according to Dana. But talk are that Melbourne or Australia could be hosting the next pay-per-view in February. The next unofficially unannounced location.
Yeah.
Which would be huge. I'd assume, you know, they're looking at timelines and guys like Jake Matthews, Madalena,
Yeah.
dudes that fought in Singapore,
Yeah.
will be looking for their fight.
Yeah, because they're fresh
Yeah.
now. Like
It's
they
about
can
the
fight,
right, it's about the right time span for them, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been awesome chopping this up, and I will be back in the blink of an eye. And with this episode, this is a wrap.
Until we catch you in another episode of That's the Tap. Look at me now.
Headshot bang.
Yeah.